Hello, welcome to News Central Television. I am Benga Aboroa, and here are the stories making headlines beyond the continent. Let's start with news from Russia, where President Vladimir Putin has praised U.S. President Donald Trump, describing him as pragmatic and smart, speaking to the Russian state media. Putin said the 2022 crisis in Ukraine might have been averted if Donald Trump was the United States president at the time. Putin, however, warned that it will be bad for both Russia and American economies if oil prices were too high or too low. He said it is unbelievable that the United States would force global oil prices lower in a bid to damage Moscow.
Возможности введения дополнительных санкций в отношении России. Я сомневаюсь, что он будет принимать такие решения, которые будут наносить вред самой американской экономике. Он человек не только умный, он прагматичный человек. И я с трудом себе представляю, что будут решения приняты, наносящие ущерб самой американской экономике. Я не могу не согласиться с ним в том, что если бы он был президентом, если бы у него в 2020 году не украли победу, то, может быть, и не было бы того кризиса на Украине, который возник в 2022 году.
Now, the first days of President Donald Trump's presidency have seen a whirlwind of executive orders being signed. The latest is ordering the release of thousands of classified files and former U.S. President John F. Kennedy's assassination. The 1963 killing in Dallas is the source of one of the most well-known conspiracy theories of modern times, but the order has been met with some criticism. News Central's international correspondent Afia Hagen has more.
The grandson of former U.S. President John F. Kennedy has denounced President Donald Trump for authorizing the disclosure of numerous classified documents regarding his grandfather's murder. The 1963 shooting in Dallas remains one of the most discussed and debated conspiracy theories in recent history. Lee Harvey Oswald was identified as the assassin, but was fatally shot himself merely 48 hours after JFK's death. Enduring speculations include suggestions of an additional shooter and claims of a conspiracy linked to communist Cuba. Trump enacted the order declaring to journalists everything will be revealed.
Lastly, sir, we have an executive order ordering the declassification of files relating to the assassinations of President John F. Kennedy, Senator Robert F. Kennedy, and Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
That's a big one, huh? A lot of people are waiting for this for years, for decades. And everything will be revealed.
However, JFK's grandson, Jack Schlossberg, rebuked President Trump's executive order, stating there was nothing heroic about the action. The directive will also unveil remaining government records concerning the murders of civil rights leader Martin Luther King Jr. in 1968 and JFK's sibling Robert F. Kennedy, who was fatally shot the same year during his presidential campaign. Martin Luther King Jr. was gunned down outside a Memphis, Tennessee motel where he had been backing striking sanitation workers and subsequently died in hospital. James L. Ray admitted to the assassination, but later withdrew his confession and maintained his innocence until his death. King's family have also commented on the files being declassified, with his daughter Bernice King saying on social media she hopes they will be able to view the files before they are made public. The Attorney General and Intelligence Chief must now devise a strategy within 15 days to declassify the JFK files and within 45 days for the other cases. For News Central, I'm Afia Hagen.
Staying on developments in the United States, the White House has announced the commencement of deportation flights with pictures of people boarding military aircraft already flooding the internet. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt made the announcement on Friday, saying President Trump was sending a strong and clear message to the entire world. He stated that everyone who had entered the United States of America would face what she called severe consequences. In our words, and I quote, President Trump is sending a strong message and clear message to the entire world. If you illegally enter the United States of America, you will face severe consequences, end quote. Meanwhile, the World Health Organization on Friday announced it will be reviewing its priorities in light of the United States' decision to withdraw its support, as the United States has been the World Health Organization's largest donor. This move follows an executive order signed by President Trump on Monday, directing the country to leave the organization over disagreements regarding its handling of the COVID-19 pandemic. World Health Organization's chief Dr. Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus expressed concern over the financial impact and uncertainty this decision has caused for the organization's workforce. He expressed hope that the new U.S. administration would reconsider the withdrawal and reaffirm WHO's commitment to constructive dialogue with the United States. World Health Organization spokesperson Christian Lindmeier warned that the United States withdrawal would undermine health security, citing the WHO's role in detecting and managing health threats like the current bird flu outbreak in the United States.
We regret the USA announcement, and we hope that the new administration will reconsider it. WHO is committed to engaging in constructive dialogue to preserve and strengthen the historic relationship between WHO and the USA. And WHO protects the US with a sophisticated health intelligence system that works to detect, characterize, and assess threats in real time. And the H5, it's a concern. It's a concern for global health, much more for global health than for WHO alone, because WHO provides critical information to the US as a WHO member state, one of 194 member states, on outbreaks and emerging health threats, but this is a vice versa thing. We also need the information, as you all know, from other outbreaks to respond and to have the best possible international response.
Let's also tell you of the move by a Republican congressman who wants a third-term tenure for the office of the President of the United States. Days into President Donald Trump's second term in office, Representative Andy Ogles wants the U.S. Constitution rewritten to allow Trump to remain in office after his term elapses. Rep. Andy Ogles introduced the bill to a House seeking to amend the country's founding document to allow a president to serve up to, but not more than 3 terms. The proposed amendment specifically demanded that no person shall be elected to the office of the president more than 3 times, nor be elected to any additional term after being elected to 2 consecutive terms. Ogles clearly noted that his intentions was to allow President Trump served 3 terms so as to sustain what he termed the bold leadership, which he said the United States needs so desperately. Joining us to shed more light on this, we're joined by United States National Security Defense Intelligence expert Godbless Otubere. He joins us from the Capitol, Washington, D.C. One welcome to you, Mr. Otubere. Interesting news we just reeled out now. What are your perspectives on the bill seeking to pave way for a 3rd term for President Trump?
Well, I think there's a misconception that is out there. And the August resolution is not yet a bill. It's just a resolution which can be seen or regarded as just an opinion of intent. It's not a bill that is written or currently going through the House process for any debate. As I speak to you, there's been a counter resolution from a Democratic lawmaker, Goldman, who says the resolution should not be looked at, or rather should be seen from its rigidity and not a point of beginning negotiations or even conversations. So right now, the House is not considering any bill that is designed to either give President Trump the opportunity to be able to run for a third time. And I think it's important that we state it clear. The United States Congress, there is no member of the House today, as we speak, that has put up a bill, either a public bill or a private bill, that the United States president should be given a third term. What has happened is that a member of the Republican Party, who is a member from Tennessee, Andy Ogles, is, submitted a resolution. And if you look at the content of his resolution, it has nothing to do with the constitutionality, or it is about his individual classification.
So you think this is more of a personal opinion from the rep, Andy Ogles?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Now, God bless. I mean, you never say never when it comes to American politics. In the first 24 hours of the Trump 2.0 presidency, he's withdrawn the United States from the World Health Organization, and it said the Green Deal is dead, like drill, baby, drill. So it's rolling back all the gains they've made in terms of climate change. So it might start as a little spark, but do you see this resolution as it is now becoming a bill? Do you see it ever getting a green light by the United States Congress? And what does this move speak of the United States democracy?
Fantastic. A lot of questions packed into one. That's a very good question. There is no smoke without fire, right?
Exactly.
That's the word. There's no smoke without fire. When you look at all the executive actions that the president has taken, executive orders that he has signed, remember, executive orders are not a product of any constitutional process. Even though they have executive power to alter or improve or do XYZ, there are certain areas that executive orders run afoul to the Constitution, and that is why a lot of the executive orders are now being challenged in the court. And I think the Nigerian viewers and African viewers and the global community watching this should understand that some of the executive orders are not going to be successful if they run afoul of the Constitution. Example, if you look at, there's a temporary pause on the birthright citizenship issue that a court, that a judge has already, issued. Let's come back to the issue of what do I think this is for the American political system. It has heavy impact, huge ramification. The United States is known for promoting democracy and term limits around the world. It is not unheard of, because let's not forget, and when you live in a democracy, and then you hear what most people say is, strong institutions are not the buildings, are not the systems. They are human beings who have made a commitment to tie their hands to follow laid down rules. Let us see what happens as we move forward. Will the American system survive the impulse and the personal opinion and interest of a group or of a party or of a person? That is what we are not going to see. Do you want my candid opinion? There is no smoke without fire. But it is also not impossible that if you cannot keep the republic, you will lose it. And we've seen situations where people have put party power ahead of the nation, and they built on the developed countries, corrupt-driven countries, poor democracies, countries that are rich but are poor, vast majority of educated young people, low life expectancy, criminality, banditry, name it. These are all products when you don't tie your hands and put the Constitution and put the Republic first. So, just like you, I'm watching and I'm hoping that the American system will survive.
Before I let you go, God bless, quickly, if the idea of tenure elongation could be considered in the United States, the citadel, the bastion of democracy, so to say, what sort of influence or message is this passing to other countries, especially countries with autocratic tendencies? Some African countries are also in the mix there, where you have unlimited term limits.
Look, I mean, it is unfortunate that it's a serious democracy, a mature democracy like the United States will be having this sort of conversation. But again, like I said a couple of minutes ago, democracy is not a product that is run by a machine. They're human beings, right? And the minute people no longer commit to constitutional democracy and put their interest below that of the nation and the next generation, you have things like this happen. It is bad, to be honest, it is sad. There are a lot of autocrats today who are waking up and saying, wow, this is good news. Mm-hmm. And then you have people who, are looking for power saying, well, so who are you going to benchmark us against now? If the America government or people in the American Congress muzzling the idea of a third term for Trump. So it means that third term is actually not bad after all. But at the end of the day, the fundamental truth is people don't want over-concentrated power on a group of persons or one person, and it is everywhere. It's not just an American thing, and it's something that all the countries in Africa are looking for. But again, that whole idea of democracy term limit is being questioned around the world. Does it bring stability? Does it bring progress? Does it bring economic success? These are issues that countries on an individual basis are beginning to, analyze and say what works best for us. But globally, humans don't want to concentrate power on one person for too long.
Thank you so much for your brilliant insights, as always. God bless Tubere. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Now, moving on to Europe, Ireland on Friday recorded its strongest ever wind, leaving hundreds of thousands of homes without power. The heavy breeze, which moves at 183 kilometers per hour, has already broken an 80-year-old record and has blown down power lines and fallen trees, blocking roads. Northern Ireland and Scotland are also in high alert and have joined Ireland to short schools, cancelled trains, flights and ferries. Northern Ireland's First Minister Michelle O'Neill warned there was a genuine threat to life and property, saying the region was in the eye of the storm. Earlier, News Central instant.
Usually used to being the highest pub, obviously prone to getting wind and everything, but this is a bit more than what we are used to. But we've been here for so long, we're so used to everything now. We're used to all weather conditions. It's just snow, rain, wind. It's nothing really different for us here.
Do you find that
we have put precautions in just to help everyone as well? We don't want anyone travelling when there's weather warnings out. We will open to people who come in. If people's travelled this far, we'll welcome them. That's fine. We don't want to turn anyone away. Just like what we have done in previous years as well. So it's just the usual. A few years ago, we had some tiles fall off the roof. I think that was about 10 years ago. So that was a bit of an issue, but we've got stronger materials now. And I think stuff that's happened over the years, it's really helped us realise what we need to do, and then so we're pretty much sorted now.
You're watching Beyond the Continent and News Central Television. We'll go on a quick break. When we return, Afghan Taliban leaders reject ICC arrest warrant. Bring you details of this and more after the break. Stay with me. Yeah, welcome back. The Taliban government in Afghanistan has rejected the arrest warrant sought by the International Criminal Court against its leaders. The ICC chief prosecutor Karim Khan earlier said he is seeking warrants against senior Taliban leaders in Afghanistan over the prosecution of women, which is considered a crime against humanity. It is in response, the Taliban government's foreign ministry on Friday said the international warrant sought by the International Criminal Court for its leaders was politically motivated. The Taliban regime argued that the move is devoid of fairness, accusing the court of double standards for alleging turning a blind eye to crimes committed by foreign forces during the 20-year occupation of Afghanistan.
چې نړیواله د جرمونو محکمه یا احمد نیسي یا محمود نیسي که چېرته دا یوه عادله محکمه وای که چېرته دا یوه صادقه محکمه وای په سر کې باید امریکا خپلې محکمې ته او خپلې محاکمې ته پیش کړي وای ځکه د دنیا د جنګونو سبب امریکا د فسادونو سبب.
The United Nations has raised significant concerns regarding the Israeli military's use of force during a raid at the West Bank, particularly over methods used, which were described as resembling those employed in conventional warfare. The raid took place in Jenin. The raid took place, I beg your pardon, in Jenin area known for Palestinian militancy, just days after a ceasefire was reached in the ongoing conflict between Israel and Hamas in the Gaza Strip. The United Nations emphasized Israel's responsibility as the occupying power to protect civilians in the territories it controls. The statement allows the escalation of military actions that have sparked international debate on the proportionality of force used and the protection of human rights in its occupied territories. Hamas fighters on Friday held the funeral of Rawi Moshtaha and Sami Ode, two members of the Hamas political bureau at the historic Omari Mosque in Gaza City. Moshtaha and Ode were reportedly killed in an Israeli strike in early October, but their bodies were only found on the rubble in Gaza City after a ceasefire in the war between Hamas and Israel came into effect on Sunday. Meanwhile, a senior Hamas official, Bassem Naim, said his group will provide the names of 4 Israeli women hostages to be freed the following day as part of the second release on the ceasefire with Israel. The 4 women hostages will on Saturday be released in exchange for a group of Palestinian prisoners as agreed upon in the ceasefire deal. Some Israeli protesters have blocked a highway in Tel Aviv in protest of the hostage release approach of the ceasefire deal. The protesters are demanding the release of all Israeli hostages held in Gaza since October 7, 2023 attacks. The protest comes as Hamas named 4 Israeli women soldiers held hostage since October 7th, whom it plans to release from captivity on Saturday. Israeli authorities confirmed it has received the list of names, but the protesters are not satisfied with the piecemeal approach to the hostage release. If all goes according to plan, after Hamas releases the 4 hostages on Saturday, Israel is expected to free a group of Palestinian prisoners. And that's all on Beyond the Continent. You can watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422 Star Times, channel 274, AVO TV, and YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I am Benga Aboroa.